Good morning and welcome to Peace Out, where we are all learning together to peace out. I have had a busy morning. What is this? I don't know. It's been crazy around here, like a circus, one thing after another this morning. That's not nothing bad. It's all good things, right? It's all good things. And sometimes it's just been different. Just say it that way, okay? But I hope you're having a good morning. Hope you're having a peaceful morning. And we just, no matter what, we're just going to keep continuing, keeping on, telling ourselves peace out, because God's peace didn't walk out the door when I got 900 calls this morning. So, and text messages and this and that and all these things going on. Finished the project. I've been up since early. I've only had one cup of coffee though, so this hyper is just me. so, so I'm excited about today. Chris and I are going to get out for a little bit today. So we've been talking about some of the different scriptures about birds, and so because Jesus used it as an example, right, when he said, "Don't worry." Look at the birds. There's other, maybe we'll look at some other animals next week or something. I don't know, maybe. The Proverbs uses a lot of animals, and so does Job, as far as drawing comparisons to how we trust God. Jesus used the birds, and he said, they don't worry. They don't build farms. They don't build little bird. They don't build their own little bird houses and plant seed and reap a harvest. They don't work. They just go out and wait for God to feed them, and they go get what God provides, right? There's probably a lesson in that too. And so I've been talking about that. Yesterday we talked about how God commanded the ravens. He said, I have commanded the ravens to feed you. And so during the famine, the ravens actually took Elijah bread and meat twice a day until it was time for him to move to the widow, and God provided a different way. So when God provides a way, we could probably take a lesson from that too. If God's providing a way, don't get mad when it dries up, when it changes, because he's just going to do it another way. He also blessed the widow and her son in the process. He's always got a bigger picture. We don't always get it. And so this morning, I have several scriptures lined out, but I'm skipping one because I wanted to do this one. And Jesus is standing, he's looking at Jerusalem, and he's making kind of he's actually talking to the scribes and Pharisees, which was the very religious, church-ish, religious-ish people of the day, right? And they made all these laws and all these rules, and they took what God gave them and then made it much more complicated and added their own take. And Jesus even said, you create burdens for men that you're not even willing to carry, right? And so they were quite a mess. They were a religious mess for sure, right? Well, I don't want to be a Pharisee. Okay, no, sorry, that's the wrong song. Children's church song. Anyway, and so he was talking to them, and at the end of chapter 23 in Matthew, he says this. He says, "Oh, Jerusalem, Jerusalem, the one who kills the prophets and stones those who God sent to her. How often," get this part right here, "how often this is Jesus talking, how often I wanted to gather your children together as a hen gathers her chicks under her wings." I love that moment of compassion. He's saying, you guys have killed the prophets, but I still want to gather you. He didn't even say the Father wants to gather you. He said, I want, how often I wanted to pull you to myself and spread my wings around you and just hold you, keep you safe. He said, I love this picture of that intense passion he has for Jerusalem, that intense passion he has for his people. Remember my favorite scripture. Y'all should have this memorized now. Exodus 34:14, and the Old New Living says that God is passionate about a relationship with his people. And we see that passion in this verse. How often, he says, how often I've wanted to gather you together as a hen gathers her chicks under her wings. But then here, the next phrase, but you would not. What a sad ending to a beautiful moment. I want to gather you. I want to hold you. I want to protect you. I want to give you my peace. I want you to understand my mercy and know that you have my grace for the day and understand how much I love you. And you can't make God not love you. We can spend all day in Romans 8, I promise. And it ends with you literally can't separate yourself from God's love. And then we see it in this phrase here where Jesus is saying, I just want to gather you. I just want to hold you. I just want to protect you. I just want to make sure you know you are mine. He has this moment with them, and then he says, but you would not. How sad is that? So I guess the question that should make us all ask that question, Will I? Can I? Do I let him gather me? Do I let him hold me? Do I let him be that Prince of Peace that reigns in my heart? Do I trust him enough with all of this? Does he really want all of this that goes through my mind and heart in a day? And the answer is unequivocally yes. He wants to gather us. I love that zealous passion that I need you. If you go back to Moses, he told Moses, go get my people and bring them to me. I want my people out of bondage. I want my people out of that. That's God's ultimate desire is us. And so as I was thinking about this and how this is actually going to be my meditation all day. I'm going to think about this scripture about how he wants to pull us to himself and hold us and protect us and be our God and be our peace. Fill in the blank, all those things. It made me think about Psalm 91. And it says this, Psalm 91 says this, he who dwells in the secret place of the Most High will abide under the shadow, under the wings of the Almighty. When we run to him, we get to stay there under his wings, right? And it says that this is interesting because for so long, people have used this psalm to say nothing bad is going to happen to us. And we can declare God's protection. Yes. It doesn't mean nothing bad's going to be happen to us, because it just means that when things do happen or whether they don't, God's got us covered. Because in the very next verse, David says this, I will say of the Lord, he is my refuge. He is my fortress. He is my God. In him I will trust. You see, we don't need a refuge if there's not a storm. We don't need a fortress if there's not a war. So in the middle of the war that goes on in our mind, that's the real battlefield, right? The war that goes on in our mind, the storms that go on through life, the craziness that goes on around us. In that, we can come back to dwelling in the secret place and hiding under the shadow of God, because God's still saying that. Let me hold you. Let me protect you. Get up under my protection. Let me take care of you. He is the keeper of our soul, and nothing can damage that soul because he's going to protect what is his. And we've given that all to him. He goes on and talks about, I'll deliver you from the snare. He doesn't say there'll never be a snare. I will deliver you when the snare of the fowler from pestilence. I'll deliver you from pestilence. He doesn't say there'll never be a pandemic. There'll never be a flu. There'll never be this. He says, when these happen, I got you. I got you. And we see that picture of Jesus again going, I just want to bring you to myself. That's all God's ever wanted, right? He goes on down. It says, he will cover you with his feathers. Now, God does not have feathers. Can I just say that? He ain't got no feathers. He ain't a big chicken up in heaven. He doesn't have feathers, but it's not an allegory, but it's a picture of what God really wants to do. It's like that mother hen gathers all those chickens and protects them. And, I've seen videos and heard stories of a fire coming through and somebody kicks over a chicken and all the chicks run out because that mama protected those chicks. That's the kind of protection. Now, God ain't going to die in the fire, but that's the kind of protection he wants to wrap his grace around us and make sure we have that peace, right? It says we'll have under his wings, we'll have refuge. His truth is going to be our shield. He's got to shield us from something. It doesn't mean nothing's going to come at us. It means when something comes at us, he's got us. He's got us covered. We're staying up under the shadow of his wings, right? You won't be afraid of the terror by night. There may be terror by night, but you don't have to be afraid of it because you up under God's wings, right? He's got you protected. The arrows that fly, all these destruction, all these things that come, all these war, but because God is our refuge, no evil is going to come of it. We're always going to end up blessed. It doesn't mean we don't go through things. It doesn't mean things in life don't happen. There is not one person who has walked through life and if without anything happening, anything bad happening. No person, I don't think anybody can honestly say, God has answered every single prayer I ever prayed. Sometimes God answers with a no. So that might be true, right? But things are going to happen. We have to remember that God's there and he's ready and he wants to bring us to himself and he wants to gather us. I love the passion in this statement in Matthew. And then I hate the next phrase. And he says, but you wouldn't do it. So which crowd do you want to be in? Do you want to be the one that runs and hides under the shadow of the Almighty, or do you want to be the one that says, I don't want to. So are we going to listen to that beckoning of God saying, let me take care of you. I got you. I got this. I got you. Come on. I got you. So no matter what comes, we know we still got that peace. We know we still got that grace. His grace is enough for whatever a day may bring. His mercies were brand new this morning, even if you didn't think you needed them. He's got us covered. All he wants is us to come to him. I'm going to ask the question again. Do you want to respond to that? Jesus saying, I want to gather you like a hen gathers her chicks. Or are you going to be in the crowd that says, yeah, but you would not. You wouldn't allow it. Will you allow God to give you peace today? Will you allow God's grace to work in your life today? Will you just allow yourself to rely on his mercies for today and to rely on his grace for today? Why? Because he's got you covered in the best possible way, right? Have a great day, you guys. Peace out. I'll see you again tomorrow.